So what have we got to, and who are we, and how do we start thinking about ourselves? I want to walk through these things. We've got about 20,000 employees. We've got 5 times the footprint of any bank in South Africa. We've got 1,000 vehicles. We've got 26 mail centers. We've got 13.5 billion in assets. Can you believe it? We're sitting on nearly 9 billion in cash in the bank. These are publicly owned figures, okay? We've got 13.5 million accounts. That's quite a few accounts, even for a little bank like us. We've got about 35 customers who account for most of our earnings at this stage, a tiny thing. We own 11 million addresses uniquely. No one else has got that. And we've got 18 million grant beneficiaries, about 5 million people that get their motor vehicle licenses, 6 million people who've got money on deposit with us. We've got about 30 million clients. That's pretty cool, right? And most of them have to use us. Our client acquisition cost is practically zero. Okay, now the question is, have we ever even thought about that? We know where you live, uniquely. We also know, if we put our minds to it, what gets posted to you and what you post back. We are in the data business, but we've never been in the data business. Okay, but there's a big, big difference. We're in the virtuous data mining business. So for social grants, for example, now, we don't allow Section 26A deductions for microloans. We don't allow 10 funeral policies. We don't allow. We allow things that we vetted and we've checked for their economic value, and they must be up to a maximum of 10% of your total grant so that you don't blow it on something, okay? And so we have become virtuous data miners. And it might not apply to you, but for a big piece of our population, virtuous data protection is a big, big deal. Okay? And so when we start thinking about ourselves now, as we go forward, we start thinking about ourselves as owners of data. Okay? And we start thinking about ourselves as integrators of systems. So when we first got involved in social grants, and I'll talk at length about these things individually if there's interest in them, when we first got involved in them, no one thought we could do it at all. Okay, and we then demonstrated that there was a very different thing called a bank inside a different thing called a post office. It's like if you go into Clicks, there's a chemist in the corner where you can buy Schedule 6 medicines according to a procedure, but you can also buy a hairbrush no matter what you do. Okay, same, and money is not delivered on trucks. It moves around in computers until you finally take it out. And we had to go through some of these thought processes about who we really are, okay? And so now what do we think of ourselves as? First of all, an integrator. When we got given the SASA grants deal, when we got put on trial for the SASA grants deal, it was meant to be a so-called BOT model, build, operate, transfer model. Nothing makes less sense, but we took whatever we could get at that stage. In terms of which we were going to build a system and hand it back to social development at the end of 5 years. We eventually managed to convince them that the longevity of the shaft of the hockey stick was much more important than the curve in the front, and we needed much, much longer to invest much, much more to get it right. So we have developed inside the post office an integrated grant payment system which can pay any grant. NSFAS comes to mind. Lotteries come to mind. Any form of payment from government to its citizens or back is a system that we've developed inside ourselves, inside Postbank, and it works. It works because every month we pay out about 10 billion rand through that system onto the second most sophisticated card in the world, which is biometrically enabled and all of those kinds of things, okay? And so we were able to convince government that we needed one integrated system. The discussions that we're having now about home affairs, about health, why can't we deliver antiretrovirals to the rural areas if we've got the data? Why must you get into a taxi and go up to Baragwanath and sit there for 2 days and stay with your aunt and drive back? Why can't we just give it to you on a QR code and you walk into your local post office and get it? Why not? It saves us all 3 days of economy. So we see ourselves in the world going forward as the as the repository of a huge supercomputer. We won't be called the post office anymore. We will be called government services or something. And that piece of technology regards every counter at a post office as a channel to or from the market. And so you'll be able to go there to download education. You'll be able to go there to collect medicine. You'll be able to go there to play the lottery. You'll be able to go there to pay your municipal accounts. You'll be able to go there to get your ID book, your passport, your whatever you want. And that's where we see ourselves because of going back to the beginning of the discussion, because we've got a unique, irreplaceable commercial asset, which is a footprint that nobody could afford to build today. You just couldn't do it. It wouldn't make economic sense. And so that's what we think about doing with it.